Let's talk about how Christianity uses hell against you. So, when it comes to hell, the idea of an eternal afterlife and fire and pain, there's a lot that we have to break down here because there's not a whole lot to back it up in even the Bible, but we'll get to that. So, what does the idea of hell do to us in our subconscious mind and in our conscious mind, and especially in our subjective mind? So there's this fear within that we're doing something wrong, that the actions that we're taking are incorrect, and we're going to suffer some kind of great punishments. There's always that nagging feeling of fear of doing something wrong or not being correct and doing something right. It's a basic human collaborational instinct when it comes to us as animals. That we're doing something that the collective might view as not correct, and there might be some kind of punishment from the collective. So, playing on that base animal instinct, Christianity in general, not all Christian sects, or not all various churches, but most talk about hell as being kind of a duality of morality. There's this very thin line between going to hell forever and burning for an eternity, and going to heaven forever and living amongst your loved ones, being in calm and peaceful circumstances with your loved ones, being with God, communing with God forever and ever. It's a very thin line. The idea that a just and compassionate God would create an eternal hell for a finite crime, and keep in mind that our lives are finite. If our time in hell is infinite, then that's infinite punishment for a finite crime, because there's only so much we can do bad while we're alive in a single lifetime. So at some point, after you're punished for whatever sin or crime you committed, the amounts of punishment that you deserve, after that it just becomes torture. Would a compassionate and logical God do that? I think not. Also, is it so divided? Is there no gray area? Is there no middle ground? Is there no spectrum where heaven is on one side and hell is on the other side? Is there nothing in between? Is it just either or? Is it dualistic? Now, the reason it's dualistic is because most churches have made you want to decide, are you with us or are you with the heathens? Are you with Satan or are you with the church? And it makes people fall in line very well when you organize it that way. Because if people have a choice of, and they believe this, they have a choice of salvation, afterlife with their loved ones, and calmness, happiness, and peace at the foot of God, compared to endless torture and hell if you don't follow the same dogma, the same doctrine, the same very specific acceptances of what Jesus is or isn't, that you'll go to one or the other. Then people who don't have a second or third opinion are going to be afraid enough, with that group instinct mentality taken advantage of by the church, to go towards the side that of least resistance for their fear. They're unlikely to go towards the side of where there's the most unknown, to seek out other information, to seek out the other side for the vast majority of history. The unknown is where a lot of fear is. The known given to them by religion, Christianity, that is not as scary because it seems like a lighted room, rather than the darkness of the unknown, of searching, of not knowing, of doubting, especially. It's scary. It's a duality of the situation. And when it comes down to how it affects you as a person, think about this. If your idea of how the cosmos works is that either you're going to go to heaven or hell, there's no in-between ground, maybe purgatory for some, but there's no spectrum. It's either or. You're going to go to hell or heaven forever. How does that affect the way that you think? How does that affect the way that you look at the world? Are you more likely to look at politics as black and white with no nuance? If you have this framework for the cosmos that you're either going to go to heaven or hell, this dichotomy, this duality? Are you more likely to view people as just good or just bad? If you view the cosmos as operating this way? It's likely yes. You'll view somebody as either just being good or just being bad. Are you more likely to view the justice system in your country, the law system, as being like, okay, they violated the law, so they get as much punishment as the court deems, as the government deems, rather than thinking, should that be punished, or should somebody who has a joint in their pocket have to go to jail? Does it make sense? Something like that. But if the cosmos operates on heaven and hell, this duality, this supreme, and you accept it as supreme authority, you might also accept, laws as supreme authority, or governmentality as supreme authority, authoritarianism as supreme goodness. Not all the time, but it can push some people in that direction. What I'm getting at is that when you view somebody as their afterlife as either going to heaven or hell, these two very vastly different extremes, your brain is going to operate differently. You're going to view things as black and white. Because if that's how the cosmos works, then why not everything else? And the truth is always nuanced. It's never completely this or that. There's a lot of gray area. So the subconscious mind soaks up a lot of this conscious acceptance and makes it a part of our subconscious thinking patterns. It affects our subjective mind in that it makes us view all that is objective as either this or that, black or white. It is more dangerous than it sounds, and it's affected human beings more so than we think. The idea of either heaven or hell. And it's also been used to control human beings more than we imagine. Not just in Christianity, but I'm using Christianity as the main example. But yes, it's something that beliefs don't exist in a vacuum. When you accept something as true doctrine, as how the universe works, it's going to bleed over into everything else. Everything else that you believe, the way your brain operates, how you make decisions, and it affects your ability to see any kind of gray area. To see if even a person is being, perhaps they're not just good or bad, perhaps they're a mixture. Makes it harder to do that. Because if you believe the cosmos operates on duality, a pure duality, then why would people not just be either good or evil? Something to keep in mind. At any rate, I hope this was interesting. If you like this video at all, hit that thumbs up down there. It really helps out the channel. Feel free to leave a comment with questions, comments, or concerns. I'd love to hear from you. And just keep in mind how this affects you. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day.